Hi guys, so in this video I want to show you our birds, our day old chicks that we just stocked. This is about 450 pieces of chicken day old chicks, and you can see how we prepared this place to stock the birds. We have carton laid on the floor to prevent the cold from the floor from getting into the beds. And you can also see that we have these items that we're using to burn the fire. This is to give enough heat to these birds because they are still very young and they are just coming out the from the incubator, and they need to be taken care of properly so they won't have any issue. And as you can see, they are very much active. So when you want to buy your day old chicks, when you want to stock your day old chicks, before you stock your day old chicks, you must have already prepared the space you want to use, like this: laying the cartons on the floor, preparing your heat items where you'll be burning your charcoal to provide the heat, washing all the feeders and the drinkers, and having enough for the birds that are coming in. You can see this is about 9 o'clock. We stocked these birds around 4 p.m. today. This is about 9 p.m. already, and some have eaten so much and are beginning to sleep while others are still eating, but the birds are generally very active. So on the very first day that you're stocking that you're stocking your birds, you need to give them drugs. The very first day you need to give them drugs, and I'm going to show you the drugs you need to give. So once you stock your birds, this is the first drug to administer to the birds: 1 liter, 1 gram to 1 liter, which means about 4 grams to these 4 liters of drinkers. That's what you're going to give them the first. Once you introduce them into your brooder, you need to give them the glucose. This is the glucose. The drugs I showed you is the glucose that will help them to be strong enough. And all through the night, during this first 1 week, 2 weeks, and 3 weeks of their staying in the brooder, you need to give enough heat, and also ensure that you have steady power supply. The electricity, the light should be shining. If you don't have NEPA light, you can be using solar light, or you can be using, there is this bulb, I think after NEPA I'm going to show you. So you can use something as small as this. Depending on the number of birds you want to use, can you decide to use either 1 or 2 or 3, depending on the size of your brooder. We decided to make this brooder to be this wide so as to contain the number of birds we are going to have. So after the first day, you don't continue with the glucose. You stop. The first 30 minutes you stop giving them the glucose, and you actually start with your antibiotics. This will help to heal. They are just hatching, they are just coming up from the hatchery, and you need to treat any infection, whatsoever infection they could have, with your antibiotics. And this is what I normally use, Embacin Forte. So you give the same formulation, the same dosage as the glucose, and that's what you continue giving them for the next 3 days. You withdraw after a period of 3 days. So once you withdraw after a period of 3 days, you start with the multivitamins that will help in boosting their growth, making sure that they eat well and they perform very well too. When you do these things, there are high chances that you're not going to have mortality. When the heat is enough and not too much, because if you have too much heat, they might end up dying. Because take for example, look at where we have the heat point here. Let's say if they are far off from where the heat is coming from, you will know that the heat is too much. If they are gathering at a point, if all these birds are just gathering at a point, they are not sleeping individually as you are seeing here, it will mean that the heat is not enough. They are looking for heat. They need heat. But once you want to see them scattering all over the place like this, sleeping individually and not crowding, it means that the heat provided is enough. So that's how simple it is to start your poultry with the umbrellas with day-old chicks. As it continues, as they are growing, I'll keep showing you videos of how the progress they are making. So you'll be able to have a successful startup in poultry farming.